Welcome to the Get Published podcast, sponsored by Brodie Consulting Group. To get more information about our publishing and coaching services, go to getpublishedpodcast.com. Hello, I am Paul Brodie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Get Published podcast, where we help authors get published with a proven system that works. Today, we're being joined by Alicia Amerson, author of 6-Word Lessons for Drone Pilots and Outdoor Enthusiasts. Alicia, welcome to the show.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here.
Are you ready to get started?
Yeah, I am.
All right. Question number 1. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to a first-time author who is currently writing their book?
The one piece of advice that I would give a first-time author is to keep writing your book and don't stop. Finish it and get to that final point where you feel good. It doesn't have to be perfect to submit it, but definitely finish it and put it out there to the world because we need more books.
Absolutely. What do you feel is the hardest part about getting published?
The hardest part about getting published is probably finishing your book. I think for me, writing the 6-Word Lessons, I worked with Bestselling Publishing, and they made it very easy for me because they have an outline already about their 6-word lessons. And so I was able to put what I had already created for my business easily into their format. And so I didn't have a really hard time getting published, but I think the hardest part about moving through the process was just the fact that I needed to finish the product. And so the publishing part seemed fairly easy for me, but it was the finishing that I really needed to solidify and get done and feel good about.
Well, let's talk about marketing. So please share a marketing strategy that you have used in your book launch that worked well.
So with my book launch, it was great because Bestselling Publishing actually has a great market strategy where they create the marketing media. So everything was created by the publisher. A little video of 5 of the lessons from my book, and also each lesson had their own photograph or JPEG that went with the lesson. And so I was able to send them a bunch of JPEGs, and then they created in their format with my book's specific color that goes along with my brand these really great images with the lessons. And so I've been able to share that on all of my media, so from Facebook to Instagram to Twitter. I have on the top of each one of my social medias, I have my book pinned. I can put that little video on my website. So it gives me a way to share this with the world. And so from marketing, I was able to create these images with the Bestsellies. And then from there, as far as marketing goes, I've purchased quite a few of my books, and I'm able to sell them at events. I'm able to give them as part of my workshops. So I do a lot of drone flight planning workshops, and so this book has actually helped me provide lessons that go even beyond working with me personally. And so it's a way that I can connect with people before we ever work together, and then a way to work together after we've actually done a strategy session or some consulting. So it's been really great to have the book for various types of marketing purposes.
Well, and I was going to ask you, do you do anything with the FAA? And the reason I'm asking is I actually bought my first drone a couple years ago, and when I actually bought the drone, I realized I actually had to do some paperwork to be able to be allowed to do it with the FAA. So I was wanting to know if you were doing anything with them.
As far as the FAA goes, they're the enforcement agency for drones. So my consulting practice is to help commercial drone pilots actually create drone flight plans that are in compliance with the FAA. So one, it fits into their market standards, and then two, it also is compliant with the FAA. And then an additional token to working with me is I have an environmental background, so I'm able to sorry, you may have to audit that part out, or edit that out. Okay, so part of working with me is that I have an opportunity to provide environmental standards to your drone compliance. So I have an environmental project management background where I've worked in a variety of different industries, from government to commercial. And so I help you create an environmental sustainability plan that goes along with FAA compliance, goes along with EPA compliance, and then also it develops your internal standards, so you can talk to your clients in a way that shows that you're committed to drone flights that are compliant in all of those areas.
Well, I was going to ask you too, so with Bestselling Publishing, they helped create these different images that you shared on your social media, is that correct?
Yes, they did.
And did they do any other marketing for you with your launch?
Yeah, one great thing is that they, through their publishing company, they also want me to sell books too. So they continue, even since my book has been published, they actually put a lesson up every now and then. So probably once or twice a month, they'll tag me on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram with one of my lessons. And so they're still promoting the sell of my book even after I've published.
Well, let's talk about your favorite book. So what was your favorite book, and what was the number one thing that you learned from it?
My favorite book is Alice in Wonderland, and my favorite quote from the book is Curiouser. So I think I have a science background. I've always been very interested in the outdoor environment and just the way systems work. So from the human body to the growth of a tree. And so I pursued a biology background because I'm just curious about how all of these things worked. And I think the book Alice in Wonderland really goes kind of on a spiritual journey of being curious about who you are, whether you're big or small. And really answering the question, who are we? And then even going a little bit further into my adult life and career and answering, like, why are we here and what can we do to make our society, our communities better and healthier? So I think that book has been really instrumental, and every time I listen to it, I take away a new lesson. So it's really great.
And for a final question, what is your favorite quote and why?
So my favorite quote is Curiouser, and that goes back into just asking questions on a daily basis. Who are we? Why are we here? And how can we make the world a better place?
Absolutely.
And a kinder place.
Yes, kinder, absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show. What is the best way for people to find you online?
Yeah, so you can find me in a variety of different places online. One of the places is on my website, which is www.almosphere.com, and that's ALIMOSPHERE.com. Or you can go to our Twitter handle, Facebook handle, or Instagram handle, and it's at Almosphere. And you can also email me at alicia@almosphere.com. And I'd love to be a resource for anybody looking into drone use or drone flight planning, or just wanting to know more about environmental sustainability.
Well, Alicia, thank you again for being a guest on the show, and I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how to get your book published with a proven system that works, grab a free copy of my book at getpublishedpodcast.com.